Hey guys, Carbonyl Dota here. Welcome back to the channel, 7K MMR Coach, bringing you educational Dota 2 content. And today we are bringing you 6 tips to get to Immortal playing as position 4. Today I'm playing Lion, but these are for any position 4 and probably be helpful for other positions as well. So let's get into it. All right, so tip number 1 is going to be that getting off a pull into going to a rune, it can be a really high impact way to affect your lane. So if you see I got this big pull off, my Night Stalker's going to be chilling. I'm going to speed it up a little bit here. And after, contesting their pull a little bit, I see that there's a Meepo mid against my Pango. Meepo doesn't need the bottle, but I've got my eye on this. And I'm like, well, maybe Pango needs help, maybe he doesn't. And then all of a sudden I see the Meepo go on my Pango. If you ever play against Meepo, you'll know that he kind of wants to do this. So I start walking over. I'm like, okay, well, maybe we just get a kill, right? And I came for the rune. What's important, actually, is that we are here and we get a kill. I mean, this is so massive if you can help your mid laner get a kill at 4 minutes. Really, really important. And just so you guys can see what is going on with my Night Stalker while this is happening. Because remember, we got that pull off. We don't just want to randomly leave our lane. So this is the pull here. Like I'm pulling right now. Night Stalker's chilling. He's chilling, getting free CS. This is all good for him. Free CS and solo XP. Gets the XP from that big creep. The lane is in a pretty good position. Like there's no way he's going to die here, even if they both go on him. It's also not a super threatening lane. But with that pull, right, he's chilling here. Like, maybe he misses a couple CS because he's, like, under pressure. But look, like, he's playing well, defense recovering backwards. So that pull set this up for him, right? Like, the creep equilibrium's not right outside their tower. He was totally safe, had free farm, had solo XP, while I'm making a super high impact rotation mid super early on into the game. So that is tip number 1. All right, so tip number 2 is going to be refill your mid's bottle even when they're, or not even, but when they are like at a side lane, they've come to help your lane. Like, so I died here, right? And my Pango's hanging around. It is so high skill and high impact to refill his bottle here. These mids need this bottle to keep them going, sustain, keep fighting. And because we refilled Pango's bottle, we get this like follow-up really good fight here. And this is something that high MMR players do all the time. The supports TP to the side lane wherever their mid laner is on respawn, could be mid, could be a side lane, to refill their bottle and keep their mid on the map. Your mid is the strongest hero at this point in the game. If you play to support them, keep their bottle refilled, they can just keep going and going, and it allows you to really ramp up the pressure early. I mean, look at this impact. Remember that Pango, when I TP'd in to help him, granted he has mana boots, but he had no bottle charges and he was like out of mana. And he's used 2 of those bottle charges. He did pop his own mana boots, but he was able to like get everything off, wasn't worried about mana, and we were able to, complete this play. So that is tip number 2. Tip number 3, directly changed from this play that we just did. It is smoke to connect different plays in different parts of the map. So we had that play top, it worked, and now we don't want to be top again. Like, it's pretty low skill to just continue sitting in the same lane, hoping the enemies like show up again. It's also low skill in general if you see my other content to like make aggressive plays for the most part around the enemy tier 1 offlane tower. In our case, it like kind of worked out. Like, it was around our safe lane tower really, and then we just chased them and we were winning the fight. So that was like kind of fine. But it would be low skill to like hang around here and try to take another engagement right outside this tower. They're going to respawn. They're going to be strong. It would be low skill to do that. So what do we do when we're all up here? Smoke to connect, like to get out of this part of the map. I've covered this in a tip video before, so you might remember it. This is kind of a rehash, but it's really important if you've never seen this before. This is super important. Smoke to get out of bad parts of the map. And tip number 4 is to drop wards in deep farm spots for the enemy cores. And I'm going to give a couple examples of that this game. This is the first one. And this is like a really great time and great way to put the ward down. Is like, we already smoked. We're already like moving across the map. Dropping a casual deep ward while invisible, and I didn't go way out of my way, right? I didn't need to walk like all the way over here. Just a quick ward drop while we're connecting this play, and that ward could come in handy later. It might not, but it might. And you can see that the smoke, we had the read that Meepo was farming really dangerously, and we get a kill, and that was from the smoke, right? If I don't smoke me and Pango from this area and move across the map, this Meepo kill just doesn't happen. So connect plays, connect one play that worked, and use a smoke to connect it to the next play that you can make. And this is assuming you're ready, right? A hero like Pango can kind of just keep going and going as long as you have mana. Same for a Storm. Like any ganking mid hero who can just keep going if they have enough resources, use your smokes to connect them to make a second play in another part of the map. Okay, this next tip also has to do with smokes. Tip number 4 is smoke your cores on their respawn. So here I kind of pre-smoked. I believe this was like a misclick, but the concept still works because now you can, it was a while ago, but in 7.34, or maybe it was 3.3, I don't remember, they added this, like, you can smoke somebody who wasn't in the smoke originally if they like basically get right next to you. So smoke your cores on respawn if they're strong enough, obviously, enough cooldowns to like immediately make a play. So an average thing to do would be for this Pango to like TP in here and clear this wave. And like, yes, nobody's going to clear it, which makes this slightly more obvious, but also it's not really that obvious that somebody TP'd out of base on the respawn and immediately smoked, right? This Pango just respawned. Whoever we run into is not going to be expecting a Pango to be on them, right? Whether it's right here, whether it ends up being down here, like whoever we run into is not going to be expecting this Pango to be running in their face like 3 seconds after he respawned. So this ends up being a really fast kill. We just find the Muerta and she dies instantly. But the tip is just to smoke your cores on respawn immediately and go for plays like that. And this is obviously a core who's ready to fight, right? That has all their spells, has their ultimate, whatever they need to like fight, right? Pango can fight pretty much all the time. So that was a really easy play and a really good tip for you guys to implement if you want to make it to Immortal. And here I want to show you as a continuation, remember that ward that I dropped casually while we were smoking across the map? Look at it come in handy here. Meepo is just sitting under it and we get a super easy kill. Granted, somebody else came and put this ward down. I believe that was Bane or something at some point. But this ward that we just casually dropped in a deep farm area paid off 5 minutes later, 4.5 minutes later with this kill. And their supports had no real reason to think this ward was here. We haven't been in their triangle at all. Well, somebody did to plant this ward, but like this was not an obvious ward, even though it's like in their triangle. And that's why this play works. So you can see from tip 4 about dropping wards, this is the first example of it paying off. And real quick, after I deward this ward, I'm going to show you another example of a deep ward that we drop that does not come in handy later, but it's still a good ward to drop. So we're just moving across the map, and the Luna did kind of see me here, so like maybe this wasn't like in this specific moment the exact right time, but this is the same concept, right? Drop a deep ward on a place where like their cores are going to farm, like their cores are going to be farming this camp, like Meepo, Luna, whatever. It's just going to set up a gank opportunity later, possibly. This ward, I don't have a later example of getting a kill on it, but just it's the same concept, right? This ward, now this ward, and I have another example which I'll show you in a second. All right, so this next part is an example again of tip number 3 of smoking to connect plays in different parts of the map. So we won this team fight up here top, and what do? I smoke us up. Let's go do something else, right? We're still strong. Our Night Stalker still had ulti. Even if we didn't have ulti though, we just killed 2 heroes. They need to respect that we just want to fight, and people will not expect you to just smoke it up and run at them. Like, especially, and I don't know if they did, but if they had a ward, let's just check real quick because I'm curious. So yeah, they had a ward. I granted, like, it wouldn't have exactly seen us if we come through the fog, but like they had kind of vision in this area. So the fact that they see nothing makes them feel really safe. This is a really unexpected play, and that's just the tip again in action of smoking after successful play immediately to then connect to another play in a different part of the map, right? Assuming you're still ready to keep fighting, you have to make that judgment call for yourself. Depends on the heroes, etc. All right, this is going to be another example of tip number 4 of dropping deep wards in the enemy part of the map. So I walk around in their triangle after we just got a couple kills, dropping this deep ward. And again, they like, unless they have vision, which they usually won't way back here, I kind of had the feeling that they didn't have vision, dropping these deep wards, can pay off. So just notice, drop another ward there, and then what happens a couple seconds later, we've got a global hero Spectre that just capitalizes right away and gets a kill. He then ends up dying, which is like, you know, maybe it was a bad judgment call to go for that kill immediately. So, you know, whatever. I baited my Spectre to die with that ward. But you can see, you know, in a different scenario, that's just like dropping deep wards sets up these kills, even if you don't have global heroes, right? All right, so tip number 6 for you guys, and I've only got one example in this game, but it happens all the time in every game, is when you see their carry like alone in a dangerous part of the map for them, or just kind of an exposed part of the map, try and coordinate your team to kill that hero. Like, we just killed a bunch of their heroes, right? And we see this Luna top. In theory, this Luna has a lot of space to farm, so it's not crazy to think that she's going to be hanging around top for a little while. And by a little while might only be 30 seconds. But if you walk straight at her, as soon as you notice her, you have 30 seconds to get over there. So here, I saw this Luna and nothing else really happening. So I tell my team to go through the portal. I'm pinging the portal here. I'm like, guys, let's just try and find this Luna, right? Fly out of smoke, instantly use it, because I think Luna could be retreating. She could be farming up here, but she might have retreated to a triangle, right? I've got my team coming through the portal. They actually listen to me. That's pretty pog. So we drop the ward here. Kind of another example, again, of dropping a deep ward. And what ends up happening is the Night Stalker catches her in his night vision. She was still hanging around the area. And because we encouraged our team to, you know, kind of chase this core who we saw up here, this ends up being a really easy kill. And so that is tip 6. Hunt their carry, encourage your team, especially when they are just like in a part of the map where you have the feeling that they're alone, or if you just know they're alone, right? We killed 3 of the heroes bottom, like their carry was alone top, right? So that's tip number 6. And before we close out this video, we are just going to show one more example of tip 4 to kill this Luna again. They've got a dead meepo, we've got really deep vision, and I know that their carry is going to farm up here a little bit. So, like, or just in general, right? We don't have vision in this area. This is an area where their carry in general would feel safe to farm. It doesn't have to be Luna, right? AM, PA, whatever. Like, their carry is going to want to be moving up in this area of the map. Like, if I'm just thinking about the map, right? I'm thinking about this area up here. Their carry is going to be moving around up here if they're dodging us, right? Because we're bottom and mid and we've closed off the map. So I just drop a casual ward here. And this pays off almost immediately. Their Luna shows on the ward like 10 seconds after I drop it, and the Spectre takes note, comes in, the Luna goes for the instant TP, but my Spectre is massive with a butterfly manta, all this orchid stuff, and we just immediately get a mid-game solo kill our carry on their carry because of that ward. I wasn't hunting the Luna, but I dropped the ward and was like, this will come in handy, probably, right? We'll either be able to hunt her or whatever. Like, somebody's going to walk through this ward eventually. And that's just a very weird spot for us to have a ward at this phase in the game. But this will work like almost all the time. So this is a great way to use your wards if you're not sure where else to use them. Is like, if you're on Dire, kind of in this area later on in the game, like somewhere like here works too, because you'll see them coming from this way or coming over from this way, and then like moving up into this area for the camps or the lane. So I like to drop a ward here a lot, especially later on in the game. And then alternative would be like down here if you're playing a Radiant, because this is where the Dire is going to be moving through from this area out into this area. So a really good spot to play in a ward, kind of later on in the game when they wouldn't really be expecting that. So those were the 6 tips. Hopefully you guys get to Immortal soon. Let me know if you have questions in the comments. I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, sub to the channel. And if you want to be coached by me, check the link in the video description. You can join my Discord there, and there's all the information there on how to sign up.